Would the legalization of recreational marijuana lead to the use of harder drugs across the state? Well, both sides seem to think differently on whether marijuana is a gateway to those harder drugs.
We hear a lot from opponents that marijuana is somehow a gateway to harder drugs. This has been debunked time and time again. So the idea that there's somehow a causal mechanism that using marijuana leads to other drugs is simply not true. The vast majority of marijuana users don't ever progress to use harder drugs. And if anything, what's the gateway that research has found is the fact that marijuana is illegal. So it's its status as an illegal drug that exposes people to other illegal drugs. That in fact may be the only gateway connection there. So what we're trying to say is that states that actually have more access to legal marijuana actually have 25% fewer overdose deaths from opiates than states that don't have access to legal marijuana. So we actually see that instead of being a gateway, for some people it can be an exit way. And that's part of our argument, is that people need a safer alternative to these opiates that they're using for pain, because the opiates are addictive, can cause overdose. Marijuana has never caused a single overdose in the recorded history of society. And so what we're saying is, let's allow people to have easier access to a safer substance and stop criminalizing people for using this safer substance.
Well, where are the people getting marijuana from now, right? They're getting it from drug dealers. So if you're really concerned about it being a gateway drug, why don't you take it away and regulate it? And so you know, people don't have to go to drug dealers who also sell other drugs just to get marijuana.
I have been very involved with the opiate crisis that we experience here in the Commonwealth, and talked with families and met many people who have been affected by it. And it is absolutely devastating, not only to the individual who is involved with it, but to their entire family and everyone they know. And marijuana is proven to be a gateway drug. And I know that there is an argument that it will be controlled and not as dangerous as it would be if it was bought in some illegal fashion. But it is still a drug. I do believe it will become habitual, and if for any reason an individual who is a habitual user of legal marijuana, there is nothing to prevent them from getting illegal marijuana, because they can get it now through certain sources. So it just is an encouragement to partake in something that we clearly know is not good for you. We know it's not good to smoke cigarettes. So why would we encourage someone to be smoking marijuana? I just don't understand. It doesn't make any logical sense. We have worked so hard to educate, particularly our young people, not to get hooked on smoking cigarettes. When I was a young girl growing up, everybody smoked. Movie stars smoked, everybody's parents smoked, teachers smoked, policemen smoked, everybody smoked. You don't see that anymore, because we know it's harmful and we know it's bad for us. So why are we flip-flopping on this particular thing? We can say Camels and Winstons and Pall Malls aren't good for you, but marijuana's fine. It isn't fine. It's still bad.
So as many of you know, the state of Colorado has already legalized recreational marijuana, and as you've heard earlier in this program, State Senator Richard Ross has been out and seen Denver firsthand. But there's differences of what could happen in the Centennial State compared to what could happen here in the Bay State.
Well, I think the difference is, again, we can, once, if it were to pass, it passes, we can have legislation around some of the pitfalls that we see in it. Out there, it was a citizen amendment that changed the Constitution, so literally Coloradans have the right to grow and possess, which can be a nightmare. The other thing they didn't anticipate is that industry got so big out there that it overtook all of the other economic development kind of industries, trucking and transportation and all those things, and now they can't get the things that they want around the state because the pot industry has gobbled up all of the capacity. So I think there's a whole lot of unintended consequences. The biggest one here too is the edibles and the things, keeping it safe and away from children. I don't know that just purely packaging it with kind of X's on it and stuff like that keeps it safe. And yeah, I think all of us, again, I was surprised, even most liberal colleagues that went with us ended up being against it by the time we came back. So.